Hi, my name's Roger Howison. I'm the farmer at Parkhill Farm in northeast Fife, Newborough. Parkhill is 537 acres. 300 acres of that is arable and 200 acres is hill pasture and some low-lying pasture as well. And about 5 years ago we planted 750 apple trees. First and foremost, it was for biodiversity. At the time we were in the process of putting together a plan to link up all the pockets of forestry that we had on the farm. So we had about 12 acres altogether dotted around the farm. So it was a big long strip of trees, native broadleaf. So that was the plan. It suddenly went from a couple of thousand to 5,000 to 10,000 trees. At the same time, so we came back to farming in 2011. I had been away from farming since I was 18. So I call myself a new farmer, although I was brought up on a farm. So we were looking at ways to diversify as well. Newborough has a rich history of apple trees. We have Lindores Distillery, which has its history and story tied into Lindores Abbey, which is right beside the farm. We knew that apples grow well around this part. There are about 1,000 other fruit trees in the town, which is right next door. So we went from making beer to maybe making cider or juice or apple pies or any product out of apples. Cider was the most exciting one. At the same time, when we came back to the farm, we were running mountain bike events, and I would run the bar myself and I would buy cider and beer in. And I could, buy it for that price and I sell it for that price, that's quite good. Oh, if I can make it and then sell it for that price, that's even better. So then that's where one of the motivations to make cider and then plant apples came from. And being nervous about it and not hedging our bets and didn't really want to gamble on a really good productive field. Thought, well, let's try this on one of the less productive fields. So good small scale, not wanting to risk too much, and then if we could make it work on quite a poor quality field, then that would give us lots of confidence to then take it into a better quality field. And it has, because I'm now looking at where to plant next, and we've got the neighbouring fields and both of them have their issues, and I'm actually considering some of the prime agricultural land down by the riverbank where it's pumped, it's very fertile, it's very flat, it's sheltered, and but is that the right place? 3 years ago we finally had enough apples from the field to make our first run of cider. So I had been dabbling myself. I have a small old hand press and a scratter which grinds a few demi-johns, and I was, experimenting. This is learning how to make cider with yeast, without yeast, unfiltered, filtered. Could never really get a decent product myself. So I went to a cider making workshop with Judith over at Cairnamore fruit winery. Got on really well with her and told her what I was doing, and she said, "Oh well, we can make it." And they have a really high-tech, modern belt press. They've been fermenting fruit around this area for 30 years, making cider as well. So I felt like this makes more sense, because I wasn't going to buy the kit myself right away and start making it commercially. So we work in batches with them. So 1.5 tons of apples, so 1,500 kilograms of apples will give you 1,000 litres of cider, apple juice. That fits into an IBC, so that makes everything nice and efficient for moving stuff around. She uses the traditional method, so we add champagne yeast. It ferments then for 1 to 2 weeks. And then it gets racked off, so you've got the dead yeast, the sediment. We take that out, and then it gets put into another vessel, and it ferments again for about another week. And then it gets racked off once more, and then it just finishes itself, just stores. We usually keep it until Easter time before we'll bottle it. Crucially, all the varieties are late yielding, so that meant that it will be end of September, October, November, even December that we're in picking the apples, which allowed our time to go in and combine the crop or whatever that was between the apple trees.
Hello, my name's Stephen Briggs. I'm a farmer from Cambridgeshire on the east coast of England. We have an agroforestry system over 50% of the farm on 52 hectares, which we put in place in 2008-9. Having to face as farmers, we're having to adapt our farming and forestry systems to deal with some of the challenges of biodiversity and climate change and economic volatility. And by having 8 to 10% of the land area in a different land use with a tree crop and 90% growing a arable or a pasture crop, you're actually building resilience in terms of an economic model and allowing us to capture values in different ways. We're not putting all our eggs or all our apples in one basket. We're actually spreading those risks across different crops. So here at Parkhill is similar in nature to what we've done down in Cambridgeshire, and it shows that actually there's applicability across different landscapes. I think it's really important to learn as much as you can, so get and see other people that are doing agroforestry and learn from their experiences. And I think second to that is that, you know, it's not a one-way thing that you have to do. You don't have to do the whole farm in one go. So you can certainly plant one field, 2 fields, 3 fields, and just try it, as Roger's done here. And you can do 1 field or 2 fields, and that can make a difference in terms of building your confidence to then go further with integrating trees into a farm landscape.
Lynn White, Forestry and Farming Development Officer for Scottish Forestry. Myself and Hilly Grant from Scottish Government look after the Integrated Tree Network. Just recently the Cabinet Secretary announced new funding at the Highland Show, and that became live at the end of July. So we've put in 4 new measures there. We work quite closely with the Trees on Farms group, which has a number of agricultural organisations within it: NFUS, Scottish Land Estates, Tweed Forum, the government itself, Soil Association, the college and things like that. So what we were looking at was putting more flexibility into the scheme. So the new measures we've put in place is we've actually increased the funding by 50%. We've also increased the number of aims. So previously we just had timber. We've added another 2 there. Also added another method of protection. So we've looked at jagged guards, so you can actually have cattle in the field alongside grazing your cattle and having the trees there as well. We've looked at the tree density. It used to be 200 and 400. We've now dropped that to 150 to 200 and 300 to 400. So you can vary the number of trees. And also the other thing we've changed is the design. So before it was quite kind of either needed to be a straight line or a clump or anything like that. But we've now said if you come to us with a design, we'll look at it and see if it's silviculturally it works, and obviously if it works for the farmer and that kind of thing. So we've tried to put that wee bit more flexibility actually into the system for farmers looking to do agroforestry. If you want to know more about it, actually speak to your local woodland officer with your initial proposals and thoughts and that kind of thing, and they can give you a wee bit of help. The new scheme itself's on the Scottish Government ARPID website, where you would formally find your forestry grant scheme. So if you're looking for forestry grant, and within that there's the agroforestry one. And obviously if you're just looking for general information about integrating trees on your farm, you could obviously look at the Integrated Tree Network website, where it has all our information on our hosts, the key messages, its videos, and we've just got a new Why Plant Trees document that we've created as well, that's been uploaded there as well. So to give you that wee bit more encouragement, looking at different benefits of having trees on your farm. It's the agroforestry option under the forestry grant scheme. For 300 to 400 trees, you're looking at £5,400 per hectare, and for 150 to 200 trees, it's 2,790.